Okay, today we're going to be learning 9-5, which is to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Please take out a piece of paper and write down these notes, or you can do it right on the worksheet that I posted in Google Classroom, because we're going to be doing some of the problems on that worksheet. We're not doing the book work today. We're doing that tomorrow. Please make sure you're writing it down, because that's what helps you retain the information, you writing it. Okay, so completing the square. The whole purpose of completing the square is to find the solutions of a quadratic equation when it's not factorable. So if you look at this first equation, you can see that it's not factorable because there's nothing that multiplies to 38 and is going to add to 14. So the only way we can do this is we can either complete the square or use quadratic formula, which we'll learn about in a couple days. Now you can also complete the square with any equation. Like we are going to do some that actually are factorable with completing the square. It's just another method. Okay. So, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to move over your constant term, your c. So remember, we have the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That's standard form, right? So you're going to move over your c to the other side. So add 38, we have p squared plus 14p equals 38. Okay. The next step is that we actually want to take half of b and we want to square it. So this middle term here, we're going to do b over 2 and we're going to square it. So we're going to take half of 14, which is 7, and then we're going to square it. So 7 squared is 49. We're going to add 49 to both sides. Okay, so now we have p squared plus 14p plus 49 equals 38 plus 49 is 87. Okay, now, next step is we're going to factor this side. This side factors as p plus 7 times p plus 7, right? And that we can write as p plus 7 squared because we have two of them, okay? So now we have p plus 7 squared equals 87. The next step is where our goal is to get p by itself. Our goal is to isolate p. So we're going to get rid of this squared by square rooting both sides. So now we have p plus 7 equals plus or minus, remember that, radical 87. Next step is we need to subtract 7 to get p by itself. Subtract 7. I'm going to move up here. So now we have p equals negative 7 plus or minus radical 87. So your two solutions are p equals negative 7 plus radical 87 and p equals negative 7 minus radical 87, since it was plus or minus. Sometimes you can simplify the radical. In this case, we can't. Okay, this next one, move over your constant term. So we're going to add 59 to both sides. V squared plus 6v equals 59. We need to take half of our middle term and we need to square it. So half of b, so half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so we're going to add 9 to both sides. Now we have v squared plus 6v plus 9 equals 68. We're going to factor, so this factors to v plus 3 times v plus 3, which can be written as v plus 3 squared, because we have two of them, equals 68. We are going to take the square root of both sides. V plus 3 equals plus or minus radical 68. Getting v by itself, we need to subtract 3. Subtract 3. That gives us v equals negative 3 plus or minus radical 68. Okay, so now this radical you can simplify. So this radical you can simplify to 4 times 17. So that's the perfect square that goes into 68. The square root of 4 is 2, so that comes out. V equals negative 3 plus or minus 2 radical 17. So our solutions are v equals negative 3 plus 2 radical 17, and v equals negative 3 minus 2 radical 17. Those are your x-intercepts. All right, next, problem 3. Okay, so we first need to add 51 to both sides, move over that constant term. A squared plus 14a equals 51. Now remember, we're taking half of b and we're squaring it. So half of 14 is 7. 7 squared is 49, so we need to add 49 to both sides of the equation. A squared plus 14a, plus 49 equals 100. This factors to a plus 7 times a plus 7, which is a plus 7 squared, equals 100. Take the square root of both sides. A plus 7 equals plus or minus 10, because the square root of 100 is 10. So that radical we could actually do something with. Subtract 7, subtract 7. That is a equals negative 7 plus or minus 10. So a equals negative 7 plus 10. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote radical 10. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3, so that's one solution. And then a equals negative 7 minus 10 is negative 17, so that's your other solution. Next problem, try this one on your own, pause the video, come back and see if you got it right. Subtract 23, subtract 23, k squared minus 12k equals negative 23. Half of the middle term is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is positive 36, so we're going to add 36 to both sides. K squared minus 12k plus 36 equals 13. This factors to k minus 6 squared, because it's really k minus 6 times k minus 6 equals 13. Take the square root of both sides. K minus 6 equals plus or minus the square root of 13. Add 6, add 6. K equals 6 plus or minus radical 13. So k equals 6 plus radical 13, and k equals 6 minus radical 13. Nothing we can do with radical 13, so we'll just keep it like that. Last but not least, we're jumping to number 14 on your worksheet. Okay, for this one, it's a little bit different because we have the constant over here, but then we have this 18n over here, and we don't want the 18n over here, so we're going to move 18n over by subtracting it on both sides. So n squared minus 18n equals 40. Now we're good, now we're ready to go. Okay, the first step is to take half of the middle term, take half of b and square it. So half is negative 9. Negative 9 squared is 81, so we're going to add 81 to both sides. Next step, n squared minus 18n plus 81 equals 121. This factors to n minus 9 squared equals 121. Square root both sides. N minus 9 equals plus or minus 11. Add 9, n equals 9 plus 11. So n equals 20. That's one solution. And then n equals 9 minus 11. So n equals -2 is your other solution. Okay, that's all the problems we're going to do together. I'm going to post what problems I'd like you to do on your own. And I also want you to watch a video on the proof of completing a square, which I posted in Google Classroom. It shows you where this all comes from. It's really important that you kind of understand where it comes from, so you're not just mindlessly doing the problems. All right, have a good day. Bye.